We don't
Be honest
see
for once.
that the Earth is flat. We don't see that. That's not
Exactly.
the report in our sentences.
Well, no, I
We
don't mean exactly.
see flat.
You don't see
Yes.
flat. I do.
No, you don't. You don't either. You don't either. You don't see flat.
I do. I see a flat motionless plane.
No, you
To
don't.
cut
You
that
don't.
shit off at the pass. With Rocket and Brenda tag team and cutting that shit off.
Brenda sees a clock when she sees dog bones. I mean, I don't see a clock when I see a dog bone, but you know what I mean?
Bro, I mean, I understand that if you want to bury your head in the sand, yeah, it looks flat. But if you want to rise above and use what brains you have, and use your rational thought process, and look at and actually not just seeing what you're seeing, but actually looking and actually rationally processing what you're seeing, then you'll see more. But if you want to stick to your little realm of ridiculousness, go right ahead. You're welcome to it. I'm sticking
to what I see, my experience and my common sense, and that's if I'm using tools and tools then take me to a different place, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Thankfully, most of humanity have gone past your thinking level and have actually gotten outside of the caves, built ships, and explored the rest of the world.
Well, good for those them NASA workers.
You're not being serious, man. You're clearly being ridiculous now.
No, I'm not. I'm just. He's having to go at me, so I'm just being a bit patronising, yes, but at the same time,
he's being a prick to you.
But he was being a bit.
But the point is there.
He said if
you and the rest of your flat earthers are actually holding back technology and science by being the idiots that you are.
See what I'm saying? He's not exactly being the politest.
Not really.
I don't need to be polite to Brony. I don't have to.
They're not really. If you use your ignorance or something, I just a couple hundred.
It's just a couple hundred idiots
true,
on the internet.
But they're enough to be fucking annoying, though.
Brenda's fucking there at the top of the fucking lot of them, giving them all a fucking blowy.
Maybe like 100 of them.
She's in the middle of it all, fucking going, "Oh, they're all idiots." Oh yeah, talk to me about fucking.
Lucky us, we have Brony here today with us.
Again? What would you do without me?
There was a time when
I lived a long time without you. I'm doing this fine.
It's a lot quieter without him.
Right.
Brummy is running 50% of the airtime, so I mean, he's at least holding his own there.
That's what we call attention whore.
Yeah, Wiggly just put up the slow police force in the chat.
Just pick on Jeremy. Okay, take over. Let them all fucking just call your names and.
I want to know, Brenda. I hand you a dog bone. Now tell me what time it is.
I could do it.
By the way,
you can tell me what time it is if I hand you a dog bone.
Yeah, you stick it on the ground and you measure the sun shadow.
Who is this stupid? Seriously.
I have a serious question. If you guys are interested.
They better be aware of the context.
Guys, I hand you a stick. Tell me what time it is.
You don't.
As he hands me the dog bone, and I roll my wrist over and look at my watch and say it's 12:03 p.m.
Oh, you said cool.
You didn't say how. You never stipulated how.
The clock, the dog
This
bone.
guy's never heard of a sundial.
He's using the dog bone to shape his watch so that he can look at the time exactly.
Listen, the joke came from she was arguing with Quantum of Razor, and she was saying that a dog bone is a clock because you can use radiotherapy or some shit on it to determine the decay on it, and therefore it gives you it gives you the age of the dog bone, which is a clock.
You can do that too.
Brenda, the joke is
if you want to
Brenda
ask,
fixed dog bones.
Just a minute. If
that's
you
the
wanted
joke.
to
So
ask
get
me
it, there you go.
questions, if you want to ask me questions, you have to stop running your shit mouth and allow me to respond.
I just want to give you a dog bone and just explain to me how that's a clock.
You just did.
By the way, I have.
You just have to allow me to respond. So, is a timer a clock? So if I have a kitchen timer and I set it to 15 minutes, is that technically a clock? Is it
what time it is?
Is it a clock?
Do clocks tell time?
Is it a clock?
Clocks tell time.
Answer.
Yeah, you're avoid it, aren't
it's
you?
not a clock because
So
why?
a
Because
timer.
clocks tell time.
Yes, you can tell time with a timer.
No, That's not true.
Calibrated.
Clocks don't necessarily tell the current time.
I'll
They
hand you a
measure
3-minute
time. So, just a minute. You need to shut your fucking mouth. It counts, and that's marking time. That's recording time. A bone, any mammalian bone, is a timer. It's recording the time since the animal it was once in died. It is a clock.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 3-minute egg timer.
Yeah, well,
boil an egg.
yes,
I'll give you a 3-minute egg timer. Tell me what time it is using that egg timer.
So a dog bone is a timer counting down since the time that the animal in it died, and it's accurate to within about 40,000
The
years.
earliest clocks we actually had were basically big egg timers.
I have a little input on that whole clock thing.
Can I say one thing quickly? Once again, here's Jeremy coming in with an unoriginal thought. It wasn't his. It's something else to hear from somebody else to flap away in this room.
The reason it's called a clock at all is because a clock is a word for bell.
It's been 2 minutes.
Literally, how many strikes of the bell is it? What clock is it? And that is in the olden times. You'd have what's that thing? The glass with the sand in it, time glass. And you would have somebody flip it over every hour and strike the bell. Hourglass. And using an hourglass and a bell would tell you the clock.
Well, they also just use the sun, which is also a clock.
Hey, Brenda, real quick. You know how sailors, they use knots? So back in the day, how was it that they timed? Would they tie knots in a rope or something, and they would throw it over?
I don't know anything about sailing. I know that knots is the measurement they use of speed, right?
Yeah, and I was that they would clock the. Does anybody in here know?
I think use an hourglass to measure the time and then count the number of knots.
I think
that
he's talking
passes
about
through your hand.
He's talking about how many knots would drag behind the boat or something based on speed, but
yeah, we're going this many knots.
How do you measure something that's not physical?
Yeah, so the way they did it is they used to tie a bit of wood to a rope. That rope would have equally spaced knots on it, and they would count the number of knots passing within a certain time.
How do you measure something that's non-physical?
How
I don't
do you
know.
measure
It seems
something
to work.
non-physical?
What
Well,
things
measure
are
time.
non-physical?
How do you
I propose everything is physical. Even your thoughts and your memories, they're in there in a
Physical
battery
sense.
of chemicals.
Tell me some shit, right? What I'm asking you is, how do you measure something that is
Just rejecting
non-physical?
what people say.
He's talking. He's saying his opinion is that everything's physical.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you is, how do you the answer to the question of how do you measure something that's non-physical is I don't know, or it cannot be done. That's the answer. There's no other answer.
I'm trying to say
None of
everything's
these hear a
physical,
story
but I do
about
appreciate
once upon a time.
you acknowledging it. At least you heard it.
I did hear it. What the reason I interjected? Well, no, because I'm asking a question. I'm not getting an answer to my question. My question is, how do you measure something that is non-physical?
What's non-physical? You got to tell me what is non-physical.
Does not matter. Does not matter what
I
it
don't
is.
know
If
of
it's
anything.
non-physical,
Everything I know of is physical.
If it's non-physical, how do you measure it?
like
Don't
a
need to tell you what it
concept?
is first. How do you measure something that is non-physical?
What is your point, Rummy? We measure time. It works.
That's quite easy. So I can get a clock, which is measuring time, which is non-physical.
Right.
I can go and play, Halo, and I can count up the number of frags that I've got. That's a measurement. That's non-physical. I can think about, the number of women that I have loved in my life. That thought is in my head, and whilst I'll agree it's kind of backed up with...
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard.
That's non-physical.
The clock is the best one, right? Like
I could keep going.
So
That's
how
the
do you measure
example.
something that's non-physical?
We just told you. You measure.
Time is physical.
it is.
Time is physical.
I never said how do you measure time. I said how do you measure something that's non-physical?
You can't.
Non-physical.
You can't measure something that has no physical presence.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Well done for getting that answer right.
You can't measure supernatural things. That's
So
correct.
how do you measure
Time is part of the universe.
Time
It's
is
simply
physical,
change,
bro.
It's simply change. It's simply repeating change.
Can you give me a glass of time?
Yes. Yes, I can. Well, I can give you a glass of time.
How do you get me a glass of
I
time?
turn a clock on and I put the fucking clock in your glass and I say, "Have a nice day."
That's not a glass of time, though, is it?
So
That's a clock in a glass.
So time is just
No. You have to define time. See?
You're the one who said it's physical, so it's the burden of proof is on you.
You said it's not physical.
Because it isn't.
We can do it both. I will define time
cannot
as
subscribe
something physical. I'll define it as a physical way that we keep order of repeating things.
Done.
In the physical realm.
Done. You're talking, but you're not making any sense.
Surprising.
You're not, because you're asking me to prove to you how time is non-physical.
Yeah. So
I'm open to your
to me. Hold on. Let me do that. The reason I made the claim. It's not when I'm talking. It's not your time to talk. You know, like he asked me a question.
Nobody has any
variable yet, bro. I didn't use it as a causing variable.
You asked me a question saying how is time non-physical? Yeah. Now, from what I know about physical properties, right? They have physical characteristics. I cannot subscribe any physical characteristics to a concept called time. I just can't.
Okay, well,
so that's why I'm saying to you, when you make the claim that time is physical, so I'm saying, well, how is that then, mate?
I put it on the table how it's physical. The cesium atom vibrates, the sand falls out of the hourglass, the sun goes around in a day. I mean, time can be physically.
That's sand falling in the glass. That's not time.
Yes, it is. It's change. It's change. That's what time is.
No, it's not. It's not a physical thing, is it? It's not a conception.
Time is a conceptual measurement of one event to the other event. Okay,
but it's not physical though, is it? It's not a physical thing.
Everything is physical.
Time is the conceptual measurement.
Is it physical though? The question is it physical?
Let me finish. Time is the conceptual measurement of one physical event to another. As the cesium atom dissipates, right, a physical change, time is the measurement between those two.
Spiritual stuff is physical.
Lovely story. Is time physical?
I just answered.
Was it a yes or a no?
It's for you to understand.
No.
Right?
Is it a yes or a no? I'm asking you the question. Is time physical? It's not
time is not yes physical, but time measures
so
physical
it's not
events.
Physical. But your mate Don the Prest, he said that time is physical, and you're saying it's not physical. So you two have got a problem there. Why don't you two discuss your
the concept
physical
is not physical, but yet concepts are held in our brain, which is physical. But then every way that it's practical and measured is physical.
The measurement of time is physical. Time as a concept
but where
is
are
not
concepts held?
In our brain,
which is what?
In your physical brain. So time. If time can't be physical, then how come we can bend it?
Well, Brenda, I do know that time
warping a space time,
but I
isn't just time, is it?
When did it become Brummy hour every day when I had to be subjected to your
So Mr. Reality was trying to respond. And
no,
then
I'm sorry,
but
someone said time was bendable, and I just said, well, that's space time, isn't it? It's warpable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
so it's the dimensions of space that's warping, not time.
Yeah, it's warping of space and time. Yes.
No, it's warping the space, not the time.
No, it's space and time.
No, it's warping. It's warping the 3 dimensions of space, and you're just adding time to it.
No, space is 4-dimensional, not 3-dimensional.
You're not warping time.
Yes,
you're warping space.
Yes, you are.
You're not. No, you're not. You can't warp a concept. You can't warp a non-physical property.
Yes, you can.
Who says that, Rummy? Who are you to make
that? You're saying you just said that time was non-physical.
Okay, real quick, Brenda. In a vacuum, if you set a neodymium magnet in a vacuum, and is there still a field around the
the magnet, or does there need to be a substance?
No, there doesn't need to be any substance around it.
So what is the field made of?
It's simply a brute fact that magnetic and magnetism and electromagnetism, well, they're the same thing, right? Electromagnetism is just everywhere. There are these fields.
Yeah.
One of them is the electromagnetic field, and then there's others like
it. Yeah. Well, I'm saying
it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Is it in a? I'm talking about just in a vacuum chamber.
Right.
You said the neodymium magnet in there. Is the field physical, or it's not? It doesn't exist until something else that is physical gets within the reach of.
Okay. Well, I'll just put it. According to my understanding, from what I've read, since I don't have a degree in physics. What I have read is that according to quantum field theory, there are these fields and they are fundamental.